Disclaimer: French and English subtitles are available here. And in the description below, you have a quick access to the different part of the video. Okay, so you want to invest in a high-end drum module, and you might be looking at the TD27, which appears to be a smaller and updated version of the TD50 at half the price. The question is there any reason that you should still consider getting the TD50 over the TD27? So let's find out, and stay until the end if you want to have a budget-friendly advice. This video will not go into tiny detail, it will go straight to the point of function versus needs, so you can decide which one is for you. Now let's start with the most important thing, the sounds. So what did you prefer? Just so you know, those are not stock sound. Both presets are my personal preset that I have specifically designed for an all-around great studio sound. And you can get them on my website, link is in the description. So, the TD50 to me is a bit more punchy and more detailed, but I would not base my choice on sound quality because to me they both are very similar. They both sound awesome, especially when you spend time creating your own preset. Now here are more objective specifications to consider in no particular order. So let's start with things that they have in common. So most important thing, Roland has created the TD27 on the same route of the TD50. Both have the same prismatic engine, they share similar sound, they react the same way in terms of dynamic and feel, even though the TD50 will have a bit more punch and volume. On both modules, you can import samples to extend the library, use SD card to save, import or export sounds. You have a multi-output quick recording function via USB, and you have similar and profound sound design possibilities. Now some differences. So, on the outside, the obvious one, the hardware. The TD50 is way bigger, allowing quicker access to the setting through physical button. For example, you have the ambience fader, which is for me very important because you can precisely and quickly adapt the reverb of your kit to the song you're playing. And you don't have it in the TD27. You can connect 17 pads on the TD50 versus 13 on the TD27, including 3 digital inputs on both modules. So this is the biggest setup that you can have on the TD27, which is enough for me. And on the TD50 you can add 4 more pads. Then on the TD50 you have more outputs. 1 stereo master out and 8 separated jack outputs, versus also 1 stereo master out, but only 2 separated direct out on the TD27. So this is something that is pretty decisive if you play frequently on stage on big venues, and also if you record your drums on studio for professional use, because it allows you to send each pad to the sound engineer or to your audio interface. However, in the TD27 you can still send cymbals and toms to the master output and then send the kick and snare separately on the direct outs. So if that's enough for you, it will do the job perfectly. Now, last thing I want to mention, on the TD50 you have XLR master outputs that will send a better, more powerful and detailed sound without any loss in quality. For your information, XLRs perform better than jacks, and jacks perform better than USBs for that purpose. So that's a huge plus for a professional stage or studio use. Then, as for the quick recording option, as I said, you can also record with multi-track via USB on both. The TD27 allows 14 stereo track versus 10 mono track on the TD50. So with the TD27 you can separate each pad, each ambience, which is really awesome for a quick home studio recording with just one USB cable, which still sound very decent and can be mixed afterwards. Now on the inside. So sound design is very profound in both, but not exactly the same. You have the main function in both, so EQ, compression, ambience, transient, different microphones, though they are better organized in the TD27. Now there are things that you have in the TD50 that you don't have in the TD27, such as specific mic placement, etc. But in the TD27 you have the brand new ambience design with a lot of settings, so meh, it's 50-50. Both are killer sound designers. Now onto the number of sound and presets. It's very simple, you have 100 presets on both. You have 5 snares on the TD50 versus 14 snares on the TD27, 7 kick, 25 kicks, 16 toms, 31 toms, 32 cymbal on both, but only 2 hi-hats on the TD50 and 7 hi-hats on the TD27. So that's a win for the TD27, but only you can figure if it's decisive or not. Don't forget that you can import samples and mix them with internal sounds to extend your library. And by the way, this is what I did for the TD50 preset that you heard. And finally, in the TD27, you have the Bluetooth connectivity, which might not be decisive, but it's very convenient. Okay, so just so you know, if you are seeking for in-depth information about the TD27 or the TD50, I have released 3 videos going very deep about their sound and functions. Link is in the description. Okay, so to conclude, Roland set the bar pretty high with those two. Your choice will mainly depend on whether you will mainly use your eDrum on stage and studio or in your practice room with occasional stage and home studio sessions. The TD50 will perform better on stage and studio in terms of sound quality and loudness, precision of the sound, thanks to the better output options. Now the TD27 is more compact, it sounds awesome, I like how the sound editing is presented, it has great quick recording option for home studio, it's easier to use and you can still use it on stage but with less option. So the real question is, do you need the extra feature, extra in and output of the TD50? If you do, grab it. If you don't, the TD27 is the one. Now, of course, if you have a good budget, the best combo would be to have the TD50 module with the VAD kit. On the opposite, if you are on a budget, you also have the TD17 that is also sharing the same engine and sound as the TD50. It's even easier to use. Of course, the TD27 is way better, but you might not need all those functions, so in that case, the TD17 will be just fine. Now, if you want to check out the prices or buy either ones, affiliate links are in the description, so feel free to check it out. Okay, so I hope that it was helpful. Don't forget to like and share, it helps a lot. You can check out this drum cover with the VAD and the TD27, or check out this in-depth video about the TD27, or this one about the TD50. Anyway, take care and see you in the next one.